You know, gardening is filled with wonders and occasionally miracles. And one of those miracles is seeing something grown from a seed that you've planted. There's something really magical about that. And we're going to explore that topic right now with Judy Seaborn from Botanical Interest in Colorado, visiting here in Central Texas. It's great to have you on the program. Welcome.
It's really nice to be here. Thank you.
So Botanical Interest is primarily a seed company.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about the story, because, you know, we live in impatient times. People don't want to wait for a seed. They want to do all that kind of stuff. So, but you thought differently. So tell me a little bit about why seeds and why Botanical Interest.
We started Botanical Interest. We're coming up on our 25th anniversary,
Wow.
actually, next season.
Congratulations.
That's amazing. Because there's a whole generation of people who didn't know how to garden.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to provide something that inspired people and also educated them on growing from seed.
Yeah.
We used artwork on the packets to inspire. If you actually cut open the seed packet, we have a lot of information right on the front. But if you flip it over, there's a plant tag you can cut out and use for sowing. If you open the packet, there's even more information inside. Sunset Magazine once called us the mini encyclopedia of seed packets. I thought that was
great.
very nice.
Yeah.
We'll even throw in a line of poetry on occasion. Most of our vegetable packets have recipes inside too.
Cool, cool. So, so you take the education piece seriously, and that includes working with children, which is one thing that, you know, I strongly encourage every gardener to do. If you can introduce a child that's in your circle to the garden, you'll change a life.
You do.
Yeah.
I think in, as you said, these hurried times, it's really nice for kids to start something from seed. Who doesn't get excited when they see that first little seedling break through the soil?
I can remember when I was a child starting things I grew up in the northern climate, cold, but we started things in windowsills and then planted them in the ground, you know.
My marketing manager, she's so cute. She's got little kids, and she had never gardened before until she started working at Botanical Interest, and she was telling me the story about how she had her little kids run out with her when she first saw the seedlings break through the ground, and they were celebrating.
One of those little miracles, right?
It is.
And you brought with you, and this is something I wanted to show people, you know, kids create these little kind of works of art. This is a packet. On the inside, it's marigold seeds. But I wanted to pull this out in particular because I remember when I was a kid in my very first garden, I would raid one of my neighbor's gardens for dead marigolds and bring the seeds back.
Isn't that fun to break open the flower and pull the seeds out?
And this just immediately sparked a memory for me of seeing these seeds.
I used to do that too, actually.
Yeah. There's a quality to the seeds too. They're so variable. Right? You have beans, you have these little tiny things that look like a grain of sand. Then you get something like this, like a feathery marigold feather, you know.
I actually made these for a friend of mine who's a school teacher, and I made some for you guys. Where it's fun for the kids to try to guess what that plant is from the seed, and to see the diversity of seeds. Small ones, little ones, stick-shaped ones.
Right.
Some are really fun looking and colorful. When you see those seeds too, you realize it's magic. It's magic. You put this little thing that looks like a rock into the ground and it grows.
And it could be magic for adults too. We need to add that.
It is. It's just magic.
Yeah, right. Well, listening to you, I get the sense that it is genuinely magic. You know, and one thing, you know, just in terms of advice for people growing from seed, you know, I think there's a tendency for people to want to kind of just bury these seeds in the ground. And that's kind of not the way nature does it or the way it should be done, correct?
I tell people, think like nature.
Think like nature's a good thing.
Seeds are scattered in the wind. Seeds are dispersed naturally. We do have people call in, you know, ask us, you know, why didn't my seeds germinate? And one of the problems is a lot of people, they bury their seeds.
Right.
You don't need to bury them quite like you might think. I mean, look at the different sizes of seeds. And again, you've got big round seeds and little sticks. Big round seeds, if you look at the depth of the seed, you want to just do like twice that depth. It's not very deep.
No.
And
more like this, actually.
Yeah. And if it's one of those little stick-shaped very thin, small things. That's something that the wind would normally just blow across the soil and let the rain soak into the soil. So you might want to just scatter it on top of the soil and then just take a handful of soil and brush it over the top.
Sometimes all you really need to do is loosen the soil a little bit and scatter.
Let the water
seed.
do the work.
And let water do the work. Because
Okay, but that's another trick.
Okay, tell me about that.
Because nature would sprinkle a nice seeds sprout in the spring when we get those nice soft rains.
Yeah,
You
if
don't
you're
want to take
lucky.
a hose and blow it.
Yeah, right.
You're going to need to get some sort of diffuser to make a soft rain across your seeds.
Yeah, even a watering can using a rose at the end of the spout, right?
And make sure your rows are like even. Have you ever had like everything germinate in like a pool?
Yes.
It's because it all floated downstream and then sat where the water was.
Right.
Also think about how shallow the soil that you just planted that in. That's the depth of soil that you need to keep moist. It dries out quickly, so maybe until it germinates and gets that root down lower, you're going to have to water a little more frequently.
That's one of the tricks. It's hard to learn, but really critical is how much water is enough. If you're starting in a pot or in the ground, people tend to want to baby things, and so I think there's a tendency to keep the ground too moist.
Well, in the beginning, that's fine. They are babies. They're just this big.
Right.
So you need to keep that much soil moist.
Sure.
But then as it grows, then you need to like
Yeah.
cut back on the water.
Right. Just pay a little bit of attention there. So, you know, there are lots of different ways to enjoy all this, but there's what we started off with was you talking about the sense of connection that you get when you work with seeds. And that's something that I just wanted to underscore because, you know, there's a kind of a slow, and use your word, meditative process to all of this that is very antithetical to our times.
I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
I find more and more even younger people are looking for ways to disconnect. There are fewer ways to disconnect.
Right.
It's so nice to go out in the garden, reconnect with nature, breathe.
Breathe. Thank you.
Breathe.
Listen. Breathe.
Listen, breathe. And just take one little seed and put it in the ground, and then
Yeah.
another little seed and put it in the ground. And then have that magic of it germinating and to watch that process, which is slower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it does drive me crazy when I see people buying a 4-inch pot of squash. They germinate in 5 or 6 days. You know, you can plant it on Monday and it's up on Saturday.
There you go. Well, speaking of squash, you've brought some of your wares, and we have next to me. You can buy about $20 worth of seeds and have a landscape at the end of the day. And you actually created some renderings that show that. There's just the varieties of something like squash. You know, if you're in a garden center and you're buying plants, you might be price conscious and only buy one thing. But here, you can mix and match things very economically and come up with great meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little landscape I put together for $23. You get 3 different colors of zucchini. It's one of my favorites to serve. I'll take a yellow, the pale green, and the dark green and dice them up and saute them with a little fresh basil over the top and Parmesan. It's delicious.
Yeah.
And how simple. I also put in some kale. It's one of my daughter's favorite meals. Again, I'll just dice it. Well, you pull the center out and take the leaf.
Right.
Chop it up in just little squares.
Yeah.
Saute it with some garlic and olive oil. Serve that over pasta.
One of my favorite things ever.
It's actually, and put some Parmesan cheese over there. It was, a lady sent me a tape that she very carefully made of this Italian chef. And that's where I picked up the dinosaur kale variety.
Okay. Well, you've tempted us in so many ways. Judy, it's been a sincere pleasure visiting with you. Thank you so much for making the trek down to Central Texas to visit with us about botanical interest.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you've been a terrific guest. Coming up next is Daphne.